Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we are proud to bring you our first look at the Italian cruiser line. That's right, we've been gifted all of these ships here on the 0.8.7 public test server to be able to kind of showcase them to you. A few of them we could actually play, and well, those videos are coming later. But for now, we're going to start off at the bottom of the line. I'm going to go through the tier 1 through 4 cruisers in this video. I'm going to spend just a couple of minutes on each because, let's be honest, you're not going to spend a lot of time with these ships, and their replayability of some of the low-tier ships is kind of limited. But we're going to have a quick look as we go through the line here. So, starting off, we begin with tier 1's Eritrea. The journey in the Regia Marina begins here. This is, coincidentally, the only Italian cruiser on which you will find high-explosive shells. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but for the moment, you know, if you're used to playing tier 1 ships, well, this ship is not really any different. She's fairly stealthy for the tier, if you're into that sort of thing. She has a lot of hit points because she basically has no armor. She has like 6mm everywhere. Like, even these, like, everything is 6mm. So this thing's going to fold under concentrated fire like a cheap house of cards. It's surprising. She'd probably crumple. This hull is so thin it would probably crumple in a heavy sea, but there you go. She does have a double set of 120mm guns fore and aft. And, well, there you go. You'll play this ship a couple of times before you move on to Tier 2's Nino Bickco. Now, Nino Bickco has that kind of rakish, low-slung look of turn-of-the-century cruisers. And, yeah, wouldn't be surprised to, you think of her like a Danae or a Weymouth or something like that. Basically, same kind of thing. Health pool for this ship is a little on the low side. 16,500 at tier 2 is going to feel, well, it's not as bad as Novik, right? Russian's Novik, but it's not great. One of the things I noticed, this funky superstructure, and it's a little easier to see on the armor layout. Check out that superstructure, man, with these funky angles in here. It's kind of strange. It gives her some personality, but I have to wonder how these are going to these 30-degree angles all over the superstructure are going to interact with shells when they start landing, if that's going to cause some kind of weird interaction. One other thing worth talking about armor-wise is, check this out. For a Tier 2 cruiser, she has a turtleback. Yep, that's right. I've got a 38mm sloped citadel in here, which seems a little uncommon for a ship of this era, to put it lightly, but there you go. Main battery-wise, I have Nino Bixio here. She's got 8 of these 120mm guns, these little single mounts. You can get a maximum, it looks like, of about 6 of these on target, depending on what angle you're firing at. Now, the reload there, 13 seconds, that feels horrible. She has unquestionably the lowest DPM of any Tier 2 cruiser. Chester is not quite this bad, but very nearly. Now, I think the reason for this is because Wargaming is kind of trying to play it safe right now while they test out the semi-armor-piercing shell. What is he talking about, Raptor? All right, well, here we go. Instead of high-explosive shells, Italian cruisers, starting here with Nino Bickco and moving all the way up the rest of the line, instead of high-explosive, they have what's called semi-armor-piercing. Now, functionally, a semi-armor-piercing shell works very similar to an HE shell, right? Except that it has more penetration, but no ability to start a fire. So you can see there, this 120mm shell has 34mm of penetration, but it has 0 fire chance. So in theory, what should be happening is, as long as this shell strikes an enemy ship at anything short of an auto bounce angle, it will deal full penetration damage, i.e. 1/3 of the damage of the shell. In this case, a little less than 1,000 points of damage. So I think what they're doing is the long reloads are their way of playing it safe to make sure that these shells behave the way they want. And then as they start to get data from the live servers, as they put these into production testing, the data starts coming in, then they'll go, okay, we probably need to up the DPM on these ships because the SAP does this or it does that or whatever. And it's possible I'm wrong. They might go the other direction, but it seems unlikely because 13 seconds reload on what amounts to a, what is that? It's a 5-inch shell. Like, that feels terrible. So, anyways, not really much else to say here. Given that you'll play this ship probably about, maybe 3, maybe 4 games before you move on up the line to Tier 3's Toronto. And again, you're going to see this ship looks very much just like all the other kind of light cruisers from this era. Again, keeping the theme from Nino Bickco, She's a little on the low side for HP, a little below 20,000. And this is a tier where you find most tier 3 cruisers over 20,000 hit points. A few of them are flirting with 30, like St. Louis and Charleston are way, way up there. Like Bixio, of course, she has that turtleback armor. Again, this is now a 40 millimeter on this sloped citadel. I'm not sure why they've done this, but that's what they've done. So there you go. It's not really going to stop her from taking massive damage when broadside to a battleship, because she will start seeing battleships at tier 3. But against other cruisers, might have some help. Might be helpful. We'll see how it goes. Gun layout's reminiscent of Kolberg. I've got 3 up forward here, 4 astern. I can get any 5 of these on target at one time. For example, I can get these 3 turrets and these 2 turrets, off the starboard side of the ship as an example. So 5 on target at any one time is the max there. I moved up to 150 millimeter barrels, but again, that 13-second reload just feels terrible. I really fear that I'm almost afraid that if they don't buff the reload on these lower tier ships, that people are just they're going to start this line and go, "OMG, what is this garbage?" and just quit. So we'll just have to see how this goes. Now, one interesting thing of note here with Taranto, all the other Italian cruisers, the SAP shell damage is above the AP shell damage, okay? But not Taranto. And the reason for that is Taranto was originally a German cruiser. This was a war prize gifted to Italy after the end of the First World War. So the SAP shell value there is an Italian shell value, but the AP shell you see down below it there is a German shell. So that is why the German AP, 150 millimeter AP at low tier, that's exactly where that value is coming from. She is the first Italian cruiser to mount any torpedoes. We see here, we start off with the A-hull, 1 launcher on each side here with a 4-kilometer range and 58 knot speed. This torpedo doesn't hit all that hard, but it's not terrible. And then as you move up to the B-hull, we graduate to 533 millimeter diameter tubes, which gives us now 2 tubes per side of the ship, 8-kilometer range, and the 51 knot speed. You'll be seeing this 51 knot speed from every tier until tier 9, so get comfortable with it. And lastly, Taranto is also the first Italian cruiser to have any noteworthy AA. Is this going to shoot down any planes? Nah, probably not. But she does have some because she will start seeing carriers here and there. So once again, just like Tier 2's Nino Bickco, you'll play the ship a few times, and then you'll move up to Tier 4's Alberto di Giussano. Now, Giussano is a really, really interesting looking little Tier 4 boat. For starters, 24,000 hit points puts her right in the middle of the pack. This is much more typical of what I would expect to see out of the hit point pool of a light cruiser at Tier 4. The armor scheme changes a bit. We go to almost a French-style spaced armor here. You see this 24 millimeter outer belt up against the hull, then there's a gap, and then there's this inner citadel bulkhead of 20 millimeters. Now, again, you can tell by the values I'm quoting, this thing's not very well armored. It's not going to stand up to battleship shells, okay? But just the fact that you've got this spaced armor in here means that every now and then you're going to get those ridiculous zero-pen damage shots where you penetrate the torpedo protection, but not the citadel. There's nothing in this gap worth doing damage on. Now, Giussano also graduates up to 152 millimeter guns here in 4 double-barreled turrets, 2 forward, 2 aft. Unfortunately for her, that 15-second reload time is the worst 152 millimeter reload time I've ever seen. Like, I think everybody else at this tier who uses this caliber of gun reloads twice as fast. As you expect, this puts her way, way down on the DPM curve. I really, really hope these reload times gets better after we start to see how SAP performs in the field, because I fear that too many people are going to, get 3 or 4 ships in and go, oh, this feels so bad, and they're just going to give it up. One of the few advantages you have of playing a low-tier light cruiser is the fact that, yeah, your shells are puny, but you're putting out a lot of them. The Italian cruisers so far, your shells are puny, and you're not putting out very many of them at all. So, Now, she does have the best range of a TNT Tier 4 cruiser. You see that there, 15.6 kilometers. That is pretty nice. She retains Taranto's torpedo armament here, 2 of these double launchers, 1 on each side, with the same 8-kilometer, 51-knot torpedoes. No change there. Concealment is pretty average. 11.1 kilometers is not the best, not the worst, right in the middle of the pack. And her AA suite is definitely better than Taranto's, but again, nothing to write home about. She will be able to shoot down some planes. Will she shoot down many? Nah, probably not. Now, helping her in that department is a catapult fighter. She does get access to a catapult fighter. To me, the big mystery is, where the hell is it coming from? Do you see a catapult on this ship? Anywhere? Bueller? I got nothing, kids. I don't even know where her aircraft facilities are. I see nothing. So I'm not sure what the deal with the catapult fighter is. Maybe they're not done modeling it yet. I don't know. But right now, she has a catapult fighter, but seemingly no place to launch catapult fighters from, which is a little strange. But anyway, there you go. Quick look at the first 4 ships in the Italian cruiser line. Each ship from here on out, I'm going to do a separate little video covering each of them as we go on up the chain. Stay around for those. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.